Let's welcome Group Director, Publisher EMEA and LATAM, Kate Knight, and Senior Director of Enterprise and Publisher Growth Consultancy, Kristen Levins.
Don't you wanna be a superhero? A superhero, superhero. Don't you wanna be a superhero? A superhero.
Welcome, everybody. We're delighted you decided to join us this morning. I know it's probably a late night for some of you, especially publishers, you like to party. So we've put some little snacks from our hometowns, Boston and the West Midlands, not quite as exciting as Boston in the UK. So yeah, lap them up and refuel ready for a busy day. We're going to be talking to you today about amplifying your influence, a publisher's guide to unlocking more investment from advertisers. So to start off, I'm Kate. I've been at CJ for 3.5 years. In the industry as a whole for 12. Not quite as long as Kristen. She's going to jump into that. But my previous experience is actually publisher side, so I'm really excited to bring this session to you today. Real publisher advocate, constantly fighting for everything that you guys need. So yeah, hopefully going to spark some new ideas. And new ideas always happen over a drink, so you can find me later at the bar with a spicy margarita.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kristen Levins. I'm a senior director here. I lead both our US enterprise and publisher growth consultancy team. I've been an affiliate for 44% of my life. Yes. But much like many of you here in the audience today, you've been in this industry for years and years, and you're passionate about this channel. And for me specifically, I'm passionate when our data, technology, and thought leadership come together to inspire new innovations and growth for our respective clients, both on the advertiser and publisher side of the business. My goal for all of you walking out of here today is to take back some actions as you reimagine the conversations that you have with advertisers on how you can meet those KPIs regardless of the channel. So to get things started, I'm going to kick it over to Kate.
Thank you. So this is the foundation of what we built our discussion on today. Back in 2023, eMarketer conducted a survey with CMOs where they wanted to understand the challenges that they were facing within their marketing channels. Now, I don't know if we have any CMOs here today. Anyone? No? Okay, well, maybe the future CMOs. Yeah, we're happy to discuss these and see if these align with any of your business struggles after today's session.
And as a publisher, it is critical to know the answer to this question as you elevate your partnerships. And when Kate and I were prepping and researching for this session, we came across this survey, and we were immediately struck at how affiliate solutions and publishers help solve for these challenges that CMOs are facing.
So we're going to talk about these 3 things that were raised: measurement, economic uncertainty, and transparency and accountability. But first up, we have measurement.
Our channel is built to measure marketing.
Yes, it is now. But when I joined this industry 12 years ago, we weren't measuring that much. It was quite a fun time. But the channel is literally built around measurement now. There's no getting away from it.
Yes, and regardless of the promotional vehicle a publisher uses, we can track and report on that. In fact, when their advertisers have partnerships that fall outside of affiliate, we can also bring them into affiliate to measure and track those outcomes.
Absolutely, and I can't imagine an industry where we weren't measuring things. And we've built so many tools at CJ to help you guys do this. Please don't say we're creating these and you're not using them. But when I was a publisher, many moons, about 3.5 years ago, but it feels like quite a while ago, I remember when CJ released their Insights tool, which is in the platform, which I'm sure you guys all know. But it massively changed the way that I was able to report specifically in CJ campaigns and how I was able to build my campaigns in the future. And next up, we have economic uncertainty. I don't want to dwell on this too long because Paul did a great job of covering this in yesterday's opening session, but we can't ignore the fact that we are facing macroeconomic issues. But the great thing is that our industry is actually built to thrive within this time. Affiliate is a paid-for performance channel, so it allows advertisers to test things at a low to little risk and provide measurable outcomes. So right now is the perfect time to be speaking with CMOs and the broader marketing teams about the benefits that affiliate can bring.
Yes, and with the pandemic in our rearview mirror and shoppers back shopping in store, advertisers must lean into an Omni Channel approach. And publishers are promoting in-store, online, in-app, embedded technologies to help support advertisers regardless of the economic climate. And the last one is transparency and accountability. Here at CJ, we are proud to lean into transparency, quality, and accountability. Within the platform, advertisers can search for any promotional opportunity available. You're looking for a search, for coupon, for loyalty. All of that is viewable within the platform.
Absolutely, and you guys have probably seen, as if you're an advertiser or a recruit partners tool, as a publisher, you should know our advertisers use this tool to find partners. So it's really important that you guys keep your properties up to date, keep it really transparent what you do to make sure that you're going to be they're going to be able to find you easily. Kristen's going to touch on this a little bit later though, but super important. And back to the measurement, this isn't 2012 anymore, so we can't avoid the measurement side. It's fundamental to having successful conversations between brands and yourself, so make sure you're being transparent.
Yes, and when you marry measurement and transparency, it allows for all parties to come to the table to talk about new ways of partnering and elevating that partnership. And publishers, this is where you all, and I'm speaking to the publishers in the room today, can reshape the conversations that you're having with advertisers. Publishers, you are the creators of customer engagement. It is abundantly clear that when affiliate is a touch point in the customer journey, we add incremental value. When we did our first ever incrementality study, and that was refreshed yet again, we found that 92% increase in shopper to customer conversion, an increase in AOV, and more revenue per shopper. This just magnifies the power of how our publishers interact with shoppers to drive measurable outcomes for advertisers. So I'm going to pass the baton over to Kate, and she's going to walk us through the traditional e-commerce channels that we have today and how affiliate supports and amplifies them today.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So you guys are probably familiar with these kind of things, right? The traditional e-com setup, everything kind of sits in its own kind of silo. And I say that because paid social teams are running awareness campaigns. They're working with their PR, maybe their television divisions. Our UX teams are working on driving more conversions on site. But all this is happening in individual teams. And this can actually be quite, it's not a constructive way to have your teams built. So we know that there is a huge opportunity to bring new publishers into the conversation to talk about a more modern view to the e-com marketing channel. So the beauty of publishers, you don't just sit within one part of that journey, you can actually advocate for different engagement points and touch points. And this massively complements what advertisers are doing in all of their other channels. And as publishers, the best part is that you own all of the promotional opportunities, which means you can take that opportunity to an advertiser. And this allows advertisers to grow and measure it. But you need, in order to unlock that investment and to get that advertiser interest, you need to be able to showcase your capability to drive value across these different engagement outcomes. And this is what we talk about as channel amplification. Now, the non-traditional model as we know it is something of the past. And there are so many different types of ways you can drive value for an advertiser. This isn't just about being the point of conversion, but this is about taking part in being about the awareness, the consideration stage, the conversion, retention, and advocacy. So we want you to have a think about these things as we jump into the next slide, where we're going to explore channel amplification superpowers. I'll refer you to our little theme tune as we walked in.
Yes.
So what do we mean by amplification superpowers? What do you guys as publishers have that no one else has that you're able to offer an advertiser in order to drive more value, make more money, and of course, make you guys look good? So when you're thinking about your superpower, try to think back to all the challenges we spoke about earlier around measurement, economic uncertainty, and accountability and transparency. and think about how you can tackle these conversations and present them as an opportunity to your brand. Now, this is where the narrative shifts, and this is where you can start asking advertisers what they're finding challenging and understand how you can help and support them grow and develop their programs. So first up, we have data and Wonder Woman, obviously. We have to start with a woman. Right, so data still sits at the heart of every decision that advertisers and publishers make. So you're going to have to think about how you can use data to create successful campaigns for your advertisers. Think about marketing insights, case studies. Maybe you've got vertical-specific data that you can use to help grab the attention of a potential advertiser. And what I always like to think about is how you can speak to an advertiser to find out what data they've got from their other channels that they might be willing to share with you to bring that into your campaign, building out a really, really strong case.
Yes, and we really want to make sure that publishers showcase that they're the creators of customer engagement, and you can do that through case studies. This really, when it comes to case studies, it helps bring to life the value that you're bringing to advertisers and making sure that you're setting up the success there. And we all know that data is critical to advertisers as they're making decisions when it comes to investment.
Absolutely. Now, technology. Gosh, where do we start with this one? Over the last 12 years, I've seen technology evolve rapidly. We have publishers bringing new solutions to the table all the time. I think I can attest, and probably Kristen and other people from CJ, we constantly having publishers come to us with new ideas that they want to discuss, maybe bouncing off the wall with us on. But we've also seen new technology solutions come in like buy now, pay later. They've really disrupted the payment solution space. They've got super loyal engagement and customer bases, and they've got some really interesting technology. Gift cards, really changing the way that advertisers think about discounting. And of course, our technology partners themselves, like Intently, who we've got here today, you should speak to. They sit on site, they help convert consumers at the point of the basket, and they've got some really cool technology learning about the consumer's intent. Now, we love technology, but as a publisher, it's super, super important that you guys clearly communicate what you do. Whether you're a technology partner or you've got a new product, you might understand this inside out, but you need to communicate that with the brand in a really easy to digest way to make sure that they understand the benefits, because it can get a little bit overwhelming. So just keep that in the back of your mind when you've got new technology to talk about. Now, technology is the future of the affiliate channel. It's everything we know behind the growth and the efficiencies that we're seeing. So I think it's a super exciting time to be part of the kind of technology evolution.
Absolutely.
And next up, we have audience reach. Now, as someone that looks after multiple markets, I really like expanding into these new regions, and my team have recently taken on 3 new regions: the Nordics, Italy, and Central Eastern Europe. Now, taking on a new market is a really interesting and exciting project, but it does take a lot of work to understand the nuances to how to be successful in those individual markets. It's a great opportunity for advertisers, though. They can get more brand awareness, they can launch new products in markets that they didn't have a presence in previously. But you really need to understand what that need is and what their challenges and KPIs are when looking for new audiences. And this rule applies to any new audience strategy.
And as a publisher, it's critical that you are asking the questions of advertisers as they're looking at maybe it's growing into a new region, or maybe it's a particular niche that they're looking to tap into. So the next time you do have business reviews or a call with a brand, make sure you're asking about what is their new user acquisition strategy and how do you support that regardless of the channel.
Absolutely. And I want to remind you guys to think about these superpowers, because we are going to come back to these a little bit later. But for now, I'm going to hand over to Kristen, and she's going to jump into some more conversations about the leads and some case studies.
What I'm really excited to share with all of you today is that advertisers are leaning in to an omni-channel approach. And the example that you will show behind me is with LG. Brian Robbins had shared with us what the keys to success have been for their program. And it's been leaning into other channels within their organization: PR, social, brand marketing, product teams, to understand what KPIs and what they're looking to accomplish. Additionally, they've been leaning into making sure they're educating leadership on the vast opportunities that are available within affiliate to help amplify those channels. This success has resulted in over 100% year-over-year sales growth for their program. This is real exciting that we're seeing this in action. And you might be sitting here thinking, great, Kristen, this sounds wonderful, but what does this look like? Bring this to life. What are some of the case studies or examples that you are a part of that you're seeing? So Kate and I are going to walk you all through a few examples to showcase what we are being a part of today. The first one up here is with Today and Expedia partnership. This is a quintessential example as to a traditional marketing channel now being amplified by affiliate. They leaned into a live QR code, which directed consumers to a Jet Set Expedia branded landing page where there were recommended hotels and activities for consumers to purchase with exclusive coupons. This garnered 46% growth for bookings for the partnership between Today and Expedia. The second one here is a partnership that was able to do 2.5x in monthly sales revenue between Massive and Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Massive leaned into their superpower of data, and they were able to segment their base on household income, make and model of car, to customize that messaging to help with the conversion in growing this particular program. And this is yet another example as to how we're leveraging traditional e-commerce channels, and they're all being complemented by affiliate.
Absolutely, thank you so much. Now, I've already spoken about my interest in new markets, so it makes sense to bring you a new market launch. Google Workspace and Savings United partnered together when Google Workspace launched in the LATAM market back in 2022. Google Workspace wanted to partner with a trusted partner that was able to drive them results that they could rely on, that were able to grow their KPIs, such as driving brand awareness and sales. So Savings United were able to create 20 different pieces of content that sat across their two properties, Techmundo and Al Universal. The content ran for about 6 months. And as you can see, the results were pretty impressive. This, for me, is a great example of a long-term content solution. Because of that extended period of content being created, it was able to create engagement over not just over a short period, but an ongoing period. That meant a 30% increase on sales volume year on year, with an 80% month-on-month increase, and 126% increase on free trial signups in LATAM, and nearly 200% in Brazil. And then this is a really creative solution from our partners, Affirm, a buy now, pay later solution, and Hotels.com and Verbo. They built this campaign over a period of time, which was a little bit out of the box. The travel brand was looking for a way to promote to drive more brand awareness and tap into their data and their partnerships. Now, Affirm were able to invest in some on-site display advertising on the travel partner's site, promoting their 0% APR offering. Now, the goal here was a win-win for both the advertiser and the publisher, and they're able to drive more traffic and more conversions. And the results were really impressive. The brand saw a 36% increase in revenue. Now, this is just a very small sample of the great things that our publishers and advertisers are doing together. But we want you to have a think about these, and maybe we will be presenting one of your case studies at next year's CJU. But what next? What are you going to be thinking about more holistically? And you guys are the creators of that engagement, as we spoke about. Now, we want to continue to help you unlock more investment. So we're going to talk to you about the top 4 specific actions that you can take away today to invest in in future and amplify your identity and your superpower.
Yes.
So first up, we've got define and market your identity. Now, this is really important. It might seem obvious, but who are you? What do you do? And how are you going to share that with advertisers? You must showcase your capabilities of what you've been doing, what you've worked on, your success stories and such, to make sure you get the desired outcome. And of course, why work with you, most importantly.
Yes, and on this point, we see incredible publisher assets come through. And we work with our publishers to make sure that their assets are speaking to the value that they're bringing to the ecosystem. The one thing that I will say is that there are partners and publishers that could use some additional help with adding case studies to speak to how they are adding value and bringing to life what they can do with examples with advertisers. So make sure that you're effectively showcasing those case studies within those marketing collateral.
Absolutely. And ask questions. So this is our next point, question. Do you know what the advertisers' goals are? Do you know what they want to achieve from their campaigns? Do you know what they're working on in their other marketing channels? Make sure that you're speaking to the right contacts within your marketing contacts. And if they're not the right person that you're speaking to, see if there's someone else in their wider team that you might be able to have a conversation with. Now, opening up conversations will allow you to amplify those other channels and drive more value and achieve stronger KPIs. And when a campaign is finished, the work is not done. You have to follow up with strong, actionable follow-up. So reporting, make sure that you're utilizing our tools, which Kristen's going to jump into now. Doing something like this will ensure that you have the best footing to get onto your next campaign with that advertiser, having created trust and reliability in what you've done previously.
Yes, and speaking about data and tools, I hope most of you, if not all of you, have been able to really dive into affiliate customer journey. This is a critical tool that helps both publishers and advertisers understand how their full journey looks, whether it is decision, evaluation, or discovery. And this really does allow publishers the opportunity to come to the table to share how that behavior with consumers changes when they're interacting with certain campaigns and investment with advertisers. So what I also want to call your attention to is this QR code that we have up here, where this will direct you to a webinar that speaks directly to publishers as to the value that affiliate customer journey brings to them and how to use this information when you're talking to brands.
Absolutely. And who thought the QR code would have such a revival?
I mean,
Hey? Anyway, love a QR code.
And lastly, lean into testing. Measurable marketing is the future. So make sure you're thinking about how you can measure customer engagement. What are your shopper touch points? And remember, it's not just a link anymore. We have clickless tracking capabilities. So the promotional opportunities that you have available, make sure you're using that to your advantage. And additionally, make sure that you're using the data available to you, like affiliate customer journey, as you're rebooking and showcasing to advertisers the value that you're bringing.
Absolutely.
So, wrapping up here today, Courage to Create is the theme of this conference. We hope that our session inspired you to challenge the status quo and ask the questions of advertisers on what's going on with other channels and how can you support their KPIs. Remember, you're the creators of customer engagement.
Absolutely. And I found this quote whilst planning for this session, and I think it really encompasses what not just today is about, but our industry in general. But every trackable interaction creates a data point, and every data point tells a piece of the customer's story. I think it's really, really nice. So what story are you guys going to tell, and how are you going to approach your advertisers' conversations from now? We thought we'd end today's session with a little bit of fun. Forced fun's always good. And you've got chocolate now, so you'll be nicely awake. So we talked to you about your superpower, and we said we wanted you to have a think about what your superpower might be. So we're going to do a little bit of a poll. It's a raise of hands. You can only choose one. So we want you to raise your hand depending on what your superpower may be. So first up, we'll start with data.
Oh, we got one.
Thank you, Amy.
Two.
Two? You're not buying a house. This isn't an auction. Don't be afraid to put your hand up. Technology. Nice.
Oh,
okay.
All right. Got a little bit more for
Nice.
technology over here.
Audience reach.
Woo, that one might be the winner.
Okay, clear winner. Now, we know you guys have got multiple superpowers, especially you girls out there. But for the purpose of today's poll, we wanted you to think about your differentiators. So I really appreciate you thinking about that, putting your hand up. And I think that's us done.
Yes.
So thank you very much for joining us today. Enjoy the chocolate, swoop up whatever's left, and enjoy the rest of your day and, of course, the awards later.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.